Hope everyone knows that when I film any type of video for this, I've at least talked to the camera for about 15 minutes before and then said something I either regret or just doesn't make sense, and then I pause and I restart. Currently 12 past or half 12 in a heat wave, and I am filming me yapping and talking to myself for at least half an hour. But don't worry, guys, this time, hopefully, I'm going to edit this one to make it a little bit more interesting and entertaining, because the stuff that I'm talking about is downright depressing. Spoiler alert, this was a crap year. I did not have a good time. It's definitely not like my gap year one, and it's definitely not like my first year one. So just prepare yourselves for that. Got a list of stuff to talk about on my phone that I made in February of crap things that I need to mention. So we might as well crack into it. Like, also filming on my laptop, so like lighting and stuff is obviously gonna go skew if I ain't a professional. Do you know what I mean? I only do these for myself. Like I literally nobody's asked for this, but here we are. Anyway, let's start with literally where we left off for the last one, which I believe was summer 2025. And I don't think I had moved into my new house yet, because the first thing we're going to talk about is money and the lack of, really. I'm very fortunate that I live in the same city as home. Like my home, I've got a home away from home. That's not away from home at all. So I'm very lucky that I'm still in a position where I can move out and be independent and live my uni life. But I'm also fortunate enough that I can go home literally whenever and chill. But I haven't found the good balance of when to do that, specifically when uni is not on. And we moved into a house last year, second year house, that if it, like anyone I showed it to was like, how is that a university student house? Because it did not look like it did not feel it. It was a very nice house, basically. And just to put into perspective, my best friends who go to Plymouth, Birmingham, Swansea, my rent was probably at least minimum £150 more expensive. And that's not me flexing, that's me, is like stuff you shouldn't be jealous of. Also, if you see bugs flying around, obviously I'm filming this at night in the middle of a heat wave. I've got the main light on, I've got a lamp, and I've got fairy lights, and my window's open. So they will leave by the end of this video. But don't worry, just hope I don't get eaten alive. That was cringe. Anywho, our house was very nice and expensive, and it taught me, oh, I really need to manage my money this year, because this is bad. It's really bad. Also, my job, for reference, still got the same job. That has not changed. I work at a wedding venue. It's seasonal. My biggest income month is always August. Sorry, and that is it. So throughout the winter months specifically, nobody likes to get married in winter anymore because they literally can't afford it. So they've got to choose between Christmas or getting married, and a lot of people choose Christmas. For example, this year, I did not work a single shift in January or February, and I was very lucky to get a few in December, but that was it, and it was about three. It's not a lot to keep my rent and my bills and me fed. I managed it. I managed to pay rent on time, managed to sort my bills out, but God, there was a few months where I had, well, no, there was 1 month there for a few weeks. I only had 12p in my bank account. Was a year of money management lessons, and I'm happy to say now I believe I now can manage my money. My mum watches this. Don't quote me to that, but I think I've gotten a lot better because last year I literally had to. And I'm actually quite glad I've now got that skill, because if you knew me before this year, as in 2026, July, you would know I could not manage money for the life of me. Just have to treat myself now and then, and I don't really think about the consequences, but now I do, so that's okay. So that's pretty good. That house as well is just associated with the like shittest year of my life. Maybe a little bit dramatic when you look at my life story, but I think it's actually, oh my god, these bugs. Let's start off with the same things like usual. Um, with my first year video, started off with talking about netball and how I had a mentee B because I didn't get into the uni team. happiness because in second year I did make it to the uni team. I very nearly didn't trial, and then my gorgeous boyfriend and my lovely housemates convinced me to, and then I did it, and look where we are. However, with everything in life, when there's a positive, there also has to be a negative. If you've ever seen me play netball or seen me do anything that I'm bad at, you know that I suddenly literally act like it's the end of the world and I'm the most miserable git to be around in like ever. A lot of people sadly have witnessed that, and I am embarrassed about it. However, I doubt it will be stopping anytime soon. So obviously getting into the uni team and being in a team with a lot of other people who are a lot better than I ever am or have ever been, and trying to navigate that, and then going around the country playing different unis and seeing their teams and just seeing a lot of people where it's suddenly like my big ego has to sit down. I don't deal with that very well. There's been a lot of tears this year, specifically in netball. That's all right. I don't blame anyone who I'm on the team with, obviously. I'm very lucky that the stereotype netball girls, I didn't really experience it, thank God. But yeah, confidence wise, oh God, it was bar was in hell for me and didn't get really lifting up. So, but anyway, very glad I made the team. That was a good positive start to the year. Uni as a whole, actually, work wise, fine, apart from November, but I feel like every uni student's going to say that. But there was a specific day in November that I need to talk about, which I'll leave you on that cliffhanger. I'm a psychology student, and there was the start of the year, organisation wise, from me, was not the best. And also, just my knowledge of my subject and what I actually needed to do and stress levels were. I usually try not to go at home when I'm at uni, even if it's like that close. I don't want to do that. I'm away for a reason. I live away for a reason. However, there was a weekend in November where these two different reports were due, and my mum was, I think, was quite worried for me. She did witness me just break down in the sofa many a times, but thank God for Kay because she supported me, and I was able to go home, and a little Menti B break was quite helpful, I have to say. However, it did not get me out of the absolute pile of shit that was October to about February. Now, there's a lot of different reasons this happened, which I'm not going to go into specifically. However, this year kind of taught me that my body will also just give up on me when I'm at a level of emotional intensity. We'll say that. Because now we're going back to the good day. November 14th, 2025. Past week leading up to that, my lovely mother has been messaging me about my cat Pepper, who is was 16 years old, who started experiencing not doing too good basically. And on the 14th of November, mum said she was going to be put down. I was at uni and mum texted me going, I'm going to the vet. At this time, I made the decision to come home and go to the vets with my mum. My brother was away travelling, so I was like, let me go home, say goodbye, do that. The same night, my gorgeous housemate Nicole George, you should check her music out, was doing a gig in Bristol. I was still going to go to this gig. Pepper got put down at 6 o'clock. I believe we were leaving the house at around 7:30. So I still did that because I was like, everyone in my friend group, all the house was going, let me get out of the house and just try and have a good evening. And it was a banging evening, banging gig. She's gorgeous as always. And then afterwards, a few of us decided to stay out and just go to a few pubs. Now, I'm notoriously known for hating Bristol. I think, as someone who lives and dies for the calmness of Bath, Bristol is like London to me. It's too much. There's too much going on. It's very busy. I don't know my bearings. It's big. However, I was having a great time. I was out. I literally only had about 2 pints. This is important information, okay? I was not drunk. But I was having a great time, and then we were going to get the bus home, which is going to be about a 45-minute bus journey. We were waiting at this bus stop for about 45 minutes. All of a sudden, in my vision, the bus pulls up. I am sat at the bus stop, and all the voices around me suddenly go muffled. I go to stand up, but I physically felt like I couldn't, and I just grabbed my boyfriend and I said, I don't feel good. Next thing I know, I'm still sat at the bus stop. One of my friends is holding a defibrillator. One of them is on the phone to 999, 911. And I'm suddenly dripping in sweat. I get extremely warm. This is November in Bristol. It was freezing, but I come extremely sweaty, extremely hot. My friends are like taking my jacket off of me and they're like, are you okay? I don't remember. Apparently, I was unresponsive for about 10 minutes. I don't remember a thing. I had my eyes open and I was sat at the bus stop, so I didn't fall over. I didn't faint. I was just gone. And then my head started hurting, and I was a bit like, this is weird, and my vision felt funny. Now, the fun fact about me, if you haven't watched these fun videos, I get migraines. And my worst one I've had was in first year, and it lasted about 8 hours, and I was just notoriously throwing up, shitting myself, and just in agony. However, I've never had one where my body just completely shuts down. Checked out in the ambulance, they were like, your blood pressure and everything is completely fine. We are still in Bristol, but they were like, are you okay? And I went, my vision feels funny. In the back of my head, I knew this was probably the start of a migraine. However, I've never had such a reaction like that before, where it was a bit like, oh my God. So I was worried, and I did say my vision felt funny, and they said, because of that, could you go to A&E? We're in A&E from about 2 a.m. till 7:30, and they just told me there's a specific word for it. It's a something collapse, and it is literally when your body, when you've been just so stressed, your body just goes. They originally put it down for intoxication and stuff, and then I think they realised no, because I checked my medical records the other month, and then they put it down as that type of collapse, and I was like, cool. That's never happened to me before. It was not a fun experience. There we go. It was just, I was in A&E also having a migraine because I was wanting to throw up, I couldn't. And then we were in there for so long that the migraine eventually passed, and we got back to my house at around 8 a.m. So that's good. So that was a very eventful day. And that really just sums up how second year was for me, to be fair. It was just emotional torment. It was like my housemate said to me the other day, she was like, during that time, I didn't want to leave you alone. I was like, that makes sense. Never probably cried so much so frequently, and suddenly just broke down in tears over God, anything really. It was very up and down, and luckily New Year's started to go up. I was also, I'm not putting it on this because I've come to the realization it was definitely not because of this. I was probably just mentally broken. I was on my birth control pill, and what I've noticed is when I was on that sort of pill, again, spoilers, I'm not now, I when I was sad, it became a lot harder to suddenly make myself happy than it would normally. Like usually if I get sad, I'm like, oh, okay, I know what to do to cheer me up. However, this, I was a bit like, oof, now I'm going to be sad for at least the next 5 hours. And that's that. Not blaming the pill. My mood just, I don't think it just helped it really, which is fine. And then after New Year's, February, things started to go a little bit better, I have to say. However, again, my last video on here was actually a video about my dad. You'll realise, I think a lot of people who know me, you'll realise I'm in a bad place if suddenly my dad becomes a lot more as a present issue. Because I've explained before that if I start spiraling about something, it's like my brain then goes, also, by the way, your dad's dead, and that's suddenly like, oh Christ, just put me down. So that was also like a kind of cry for help, but also I am fine. Yeah, it's fine. Along with the new house, it was like just a lot of things happened in second year, which again I'm just not going to go into. But it just seemed like the house was cursed. It was like Christ, and I was very, very, very excited to move out and get into the one we're at now, which positive vibes. I'm loving it so far. I've got a bigger room. But yeah, it was just, and then at the end of like second year uni wise, I was on top of my work. I was actually very focused, and the sun was out, which is a massive motivation to just get stuff done, sort of get my tan on. But yeah, along with the money issues, I had no new tattoos. Didn't buy a lot of stuff for myself. Didn't go out a lot. You know me, love the club, love the pub. Couldn't do that because I want a pint every now and again, but can't get the pint. But yeah, it was very good. Also, again, this just shows how crap this year was. If you know me and you know me well, you will know that my birthday is like a 3 month build up. The minute it gets to bloody probably March, I start thinking, oh, my birthday's coming up soon. I don't think a single person who knows me or spent time with me this year will say, God, Emma was so excited for her birthday. That's when you know I've hit rock bottom, because I was just done. I didn't care what I did on my birthday. I didn't care about anything. I wasn't excited about turning 21. Who would be? Do you know what I mean? It's like just another reminder I'm getting old. 25 is just around the corner. It's just mental health crisis, midlife crisis. Just, oh, pile of poo. However, if you're turning 21 this year, happy birthday. I'm sure it's going to be a great year for you. Only positive things. The other thing as well, I'm just, my friends were all, most of them are graduating this year, obviously, because of our gap year. So Christmas time and holidays were pretty busy, not really seeing my friends because they also had so much stuff to do. So even when I was at home, it was a bit like, oh my God. And then also because I was just so mentally dead, social battery was just non-existent. Usually I'm ready to go wherever, whenever, but it was just appalling. I hope people noticed that. If not, that's embarrassing. But yeah, it was just a shame. But luckily, Liz and my besties graduate, or have now graduated, and they will be there next year, which is just nice. I'm very lucky to have or picked a uni so close to home, because I don't have the separation that some people have of like uni friends, home friends. I have the power to just mix everyone up, and then happy things. Pub trips are lit. You know what I mean? So I'm excited for that this year. Do I have anything else on my list that I really need to say? Oh, I then also had another migraine. Oh, of course I do. God. Oh, that makes me sad. I had another migraine on Valentine's Day. Was it? Yeah, it was Valentine's Day because I was meant to go out for my best friend B's birthday. And then I think I was looking so forward, because this is obviously February. I'm still in emotional tyrant, but I don't know if I've used that word right. Oh well. However, I'm on the up. So then B's birthday came along and I was so excited. I had a bit of money and I was like, let's go. I'm so excited. And then I think I got so excited that again my head just went, have another migraine, love. And I did. And that is a very close, I don't think I've had a migraine so close together before as well, because the last one was only November and this happened on Valentine's Day. I was like, bruv, I wouldn't wish migraines on the worst enemy, and mine aren't even the worst that they can get. However, they're not enjoyable at all. Still did make it to the pub. I just didn't stay out as long as I would have wanted to if I was at full health. So that's depressing. And then, yes, we are now on the up of summer. Was loving life. Uni's over. I'm enjoying the last few months of the house, trying to make it, well, wanted to piss off, but trying to make some happy memories at least to associate the house with. And then my other cat, my 16-year-old other cat, which we got the exact same time as Pepper when I was about 5 years old. My baby, my favourite baby, Pickle, my black and white little diva. This isn't her, just looks like her. She then became ill, and we had to make the decision as well to put her down. Luckily, she made it past my birthday, so it was like a week after my birthday, got the news. And when I tell you, I think a lot of people would have, like, obviously, this is my like, oh my god, me and Pickle's bond was just unlike no other. She started hating me once I went to uni, which is understandable. I would be too if my favourite human left. But she was just, I love her so much. And obviously, I was very emotional that day. Haven't cried that much in a long time. And I think what made it worse, which I don't know if people realise this is just brain, obviously, I have to talk about grief, my personality, clearly, is when Pickle died. Yes, I was devastated that my pet has gone. However, what upset me even more was the fact that when Pepper died, I was like, we still got Pickle. My third cat, Piper, who is still alive, we got her, like, she was known as like our therapy cat because we got her straight after Dad died. And so she never met him. Pepper died. I was like, she's up with Dad. Pickle died. Kind of made the realization of how long my dad's been dead come to just pinpoint in my brain and put that just like there, because he's now been gone a long enough. I know cats don't live for that long anyway, but still 7 years. Where now both of the cats that he knew and loved as well have also now died. So there's no remaining fur animal apart from Eve's dog and cats that my dad knew. I don't even know if my dad met my best friend's dog. Anyway, it's irrelevant. God. So I couldn't be a YouTuber. I'm just spilling so much personal information and just yapping about things that people are probably like, oh, and why is that relevant? Anyway, do it for the love of the game. But yeah, that hit me. I was like, oh God, here we go again. Just another reminder, just another day in Hollywood, isn't it? And I know I make jokes. You saw the video, it's still so present. It's like, oh God. So yeah, but rest in peace, Pickle. Pepper and Pickle are now up with Dad. Died around 6 months apart from each other. So kind of cute, even though they didn't really like each other. But yeah, two great family members lost. But yeah. Anyway, I hope for 2026 and now onwards and upwards, really. I don't think it could get worse than last year. Unless Piper decides to clock it as well, that's going to be really bad. But she's still young. God bless. So it's okay. I'm just hoping for this year to have more money, to actually have fun and not just wallow in my self pity. If I become the same state that I was last year, people are going to have to get me out of it. However, I will be more perseverant. Oh, wait, let's talk about birth control. Sorry, everyone's favourite topic. I got off the pill and onto something new, which is the implant. Okay, I found with the pill, I was at this point, I was blaming my mental state on the pill. I know it's not fully the reason why. However, like I explained earlier, I knew it wasn't helping if I was in a bad place anyway. So I wanted something new. Talked to the GP, loads of different options, blah blah blah. And she said, implant comes up. I was like, you know what? Not having to take a pill at a specific hour of every day would actually be quite nice. And so I went, stick that thing in my arm. Please hope that it doesn't make me sad. Which I'm now, I got it in April, May, June, July, around the 3 month mark. I will have to say, this thing, way better than the pill mentally. Instead of getting sad now, I get angry extremely quickly. So I would take that over being sad. People around me probably wouldn't, but guys, got to take the small wins, you know what I mean? I would blame and say, yeah, it's also made me put on weight, but I just haven't done exercise in God knows how long, so can't really blame it on that. But my plan is to go to the gym, get a gym membership. I want to start feeling better mentally and physically, because not only am I extremely unfit, I am just weak as shit. It's embarrassing at work having to stock up or stuff or carry plates, and I just haven't got it in me anymore. I feel pathetic. I want my leg muscle back. I want my definition. I want to be able to lift a lot of heavy things at once. So that's my goal. And also just to feel better, because this probably hasn't been the year of self-love either. God, I've really gone downhill since gap year. If you watch these back to back, it's a different woman. God, growing up is just wank. But yeah, goals for 2026. That's what I should have really done at the end of everyone, shouldn't I? Oh well, still have my gorgeous friends and my relationships that I've got. Love them all to bits. I love my boyfriend, my family. Just enjoy the last year of university. Now my friends have graduated, and trust me, that felt very real. And I wasn't even the one walking across the stage, but it's made me realise we're all growing up. So just to enjoy these moments where we can just go to a pub on a weekday and get bollocked, where we can stay up and watch football for 2 a.m. Like, God, this summer has already probably topped, this month has topped the whole of last year. And that's just that. It's just a way of life. I'm prepared for years to be crap. Realistically, it's not all cupcakes and rainbows, is it? Otherwise, my dad wouldn't be dead. But yeah, bigger and better things. And I hope this time next year I'm coming on and going, guys, 2026 was the best year ever. But we shall see, because realistically, anything can happen. But I'm optimistic so far. Yes, uni hasn't started. Yes, I'm just living carefree. Here's a hoping. Here's a hoping. Positive vibes only. I hope everyone else is okay and everyone's had a much better year than me. If you haven't, I'm so sorry, but at least we're in this together. And then I hope next year is a lot better as well. Thanks for listening. If you did, if you didn't, that's all right. You haven't got to this point, have you? So it's okay. Never know how to sign these off, and now I'm just rambling out of pure awkwardness. Hopefully we'll see you next year, because I can't just milk another dead dad vid out, can I? So also, who cares? But yeah, I'll see you next year. Love you all. God bless.